Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots. Blue Liquor Shields Desolate Search Peasants, Vassals. Coming at you, tour. We're going to talk about Ireland today. I'm a useful idiot, and I did a video recently about more bank bailouts coming to the Eurozone. One of them is Ireland. Things are really deteriorating quickly there, and this is even after 5 years of austerity. And I recommend that video. More bailouts coming to the Eurozone. I'll attach it below. But there's more. There was a tidbit that I brought up in that video that I found rather interesting. And to me, this is right in line with the outrageousness of having your bank deposits confiscated in Cyprus. And that's in Ireland now. They have an insolvency service, and it's actually going to mandate a budget for personal budgets for people with mortgages that they want to renegotiate their mortgages. So pretty dramatic. So it says Ireland's insolvency service set out a monthly spending limit for people seeking debt deals from their creditors. And it's very specific. A single person will be allowed £247. Well, let me be more specific here. £247.04 for food, £57.31 for heating, £125.97 for, quote, social inclusion and participation, unquote. And that works out to be about £8 a day, I understand. And I thought that was an interesting term for, I guess, recreation, as we call it here in the U.S., quote, social inclusion and participation, unquote. So that would be sports events and cinema tickets and that sort of thing. So those seeking debt relief will also have to give up their cars if they are have easy access to public transportation, and they also have to give up their private health insurance. So, and then if that's not enough, Ireland's insolvency service that's set up to facilitate this new bankruptcy and mortgage negotiation process. But it also turns out the banks will use these new guidelines as they begin restructuring tens of thousands of home loans over the coming months. In the last video, I pointed out that they're promising the largest wave of foreclosures in Irish history because they've been holding off doing foreclosures for a number of reasons in Ireland, one of which, of course, is the banks don't want to take the write-downs. So anyway, but I find that pretty disturbing that the banks and this mediator between the banks and the debtors can come in and outline a budget so specific. In fact, they even point out you can have £372.49 per month for an infant and £497.32 per month for a secondary school child. So they've really worked this out to a science. But they do have a very serious situation in Ireland. 1 in 4 Irish mortgage holders is in arrears, and that's 120,000 mortgages in arrears. And that's on top of 100,000 loans that have had short-term fixes and that will be coming up for more restructuring. And so that's 220,000 in a country of 4.5 million. So that's a staggering amount. And in fact, in a country of 4.5 million, 400,000 homeowners have negative equity. Their mortgages are underwater. And as if having the Irish banks and the Irish government step in and manage your personal budget for you. If that wasn't enough of banker slavery in Ireland, as it turns out, unlike in the U.S., in Ireland, mortgage holders cannot escape debt obligations by surrendering the property to the bank. Irish banks that sell repossessed properties at a loss can pursue homeowners for the difference. So these people are literally chained to these underwater mortgages in these houses, and that's if that isn't debt slavery, I don't know what is. And this is, of course, as I mentioned in the last video, is all going to be exacerbated by the fact that there's an Irish property tax coming up in July. And this is just seems like a recipe for disaster. The unemployment rate in Ireland is still a stubbornly high 14% after 5 years of austerity, and wages are falling, and 400,000 homeowners are underwater, and then they're going to have a new property tax, and then they're going to have the government and the banks basically managing their budgets for them. And the chief executive of Allied Irish Bank, David Duffy, said, quote, "Anything that is done will be with full respect to the moral hazard that would be created," unquote. So it's a nice way of saying they want to try and ease the problem somewhat, but they don't want the banks to have to make any concessions. So anyway, Irish household debt is at 200% of disposable income, and that's why I say it's a recipe for a disaster. You add all those other things up to a Irish population that is already under banker occupation and debt slavery, when the Irish household debt is at 200% of disposable income. And it's also interesting to find out that the government, of course, says that there will be debt forgiveness, but the bank said there will be no debt forgiveness. And that is how it works. The banks will be correct in this situation. There will be no debt forgiveness. Ireland is going to be in debt slavery for as long as the eye can see, for the time being. And now they're going to reach new levels of debt slavery. They got one of the most egregious bank bailouts in Europe, and they've really taken quite the blows as far as how harsh austerity's been in Ireland. And now on top of this, the banks and the government in Ireland are lowering the boom to new levels of debt slavery. So now the banks and the government will manage personal budgets all over Ireland. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.